Hi guys, a little bit of a different video today. I just wanted to briefly talk about matchmaking and tier difference in Arena, as well as give you a quick channel update on what's happening. So let's start from matchmaking issues. Let's start fog of war, enable player switching just in case. And so in this battle our team consists mostly of tier 5 and 2 tier 6 players. Meanwhile the enemy team has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tier 6 players and 1 tier 7 player. So as you can see, it's upfront very disadvantageous for us. And what's ended up happening, I think, is that matchmaking prioritizes an equal spread of unit types. So if our team has 6 cover units, then it tries to give 6 cover units to the enemy team, and so forth. But what it tries to do at the same time is to evenly spread out the tiers, mainly because of that, probably. I'm only guessing because I just don't know, but that's what I have observed. At the same time, there is an argument that, oh, it's closed beta, so the matchmaking isn't populated enough to give us those balanced matches. And yes, while it is true with unit types, so for example, the enemy team, we can see, has 4 artillery pieces here, and one somewhere else, maybe this one, I don't know, yeah, this is this one. So the enemy team has 5 artillery pieces, we have 0. Because there is not enough players in matchmaking, there are no freelance, which means not in party. So there's not enough single solo artillery players to put on our team, so we don't have any artillery, the enemy has 5. So yes, that's the issue with not enough populated matchmaking. But what very often ends up happening is that within only those 20 players that end up being put in a match together, there could be struck a better balance between them from only the selection of those 20 players. For example, I had many battles, but let's focus on one example. When our team had 2 tier 5 dog players and the enemy team had 2 tier 7 dog players, and none of them were in a party, they were all solo players. So yes, matchmaking succeeds in giving an equal amount of war dog players to each team, but why the hell our team has 6 tier 5 the war dog units, while the enemy team has 6 tier 7 war dog units? All the matchmaking had to do is put 1 tier 7 dog player on our team instead of the tier 5 dog player. So both teams would have 1 tier 5 and 1 tier 7 dog player. Problem solved. So in this manner, the argument of matchmaking not being populated well enough is invalid. So yes, matchmaking needs to be fixed. And if on forum you see people complaining about matchmaking, and you see guys who are like blind to all arguments, they just claim, oh, it's closed beta, get over it, it just needs more people, and when it gets more people in matchmaking, everything will be perfect. No, it won't be, unless matchmaking will be improved. Well, just the code of matchmaking will be improved. So yeah, that's the issue. Now moving on to tier difference. The tier difference is very significant, which means players who have tier advantage can ignore tactics up to that point that they can successfully pull off maneuvers that they would otherwise fail miserably, or they would just be flat out impossible just because they have tier advantage. For example, I've seen tier 6 or 7, doesn't really matter, it happens to both tier 6 and 7 cavalry, charging straight through the middle with 1 cavalry unit, not 3. 1 cavalry unit charging straight through the middle of Hadrian's Wall into 3 tier 5 archers. The tier 5 archer guy, well, yes, cavalry is counter to archers, but archers have ways to deal with cavalry. The archer player did everything right. The cavalry guy was moving through mud, so he was slowed down, so that's a disadvantage for him. The archer player spread out, he wasn't blown up, he used barrage before cavalry reached him, which means a huge damage output before the charge hits him. Yeah, what happened is cavalry only suffered armor piercing damage. Wait, let's stop here. Another issue I want to show you. So this is a dead unit of 5 men. I have a cavalry here, I want to charge this artillery. What's ended up happening is that my guys get stuck into this unit and my charge is significantly weaker because of that. Back to tier difference. Maybe I'll slow down the replay so because I'm running out of time. So the archer guy did everything right, and just because the cavalry was 1 tier higher or 2 tier higher, it only suffered armor piercing damage and it barely lost like, I don't know, 20% of health before reaching the archer guy, and after charging he killed that unit very fast, then moved on to another and on to another, and 1 unit killed 3 archer units. Yes, it's cavalry versus archers, but if that was tier 5 cavalry, it would lose like 80% of health instead of 20, just from that triple barrage from different angles. So whether yes or not it should be in the case with cavalry, it's a different debate. Whether the cavalry should get erased by barrages up front, because cavalry is counter to archers. Some people may argue that it should be the case, some people could argue that it's not the case. Doesn't really matter, because I'm talking about the game in the state it is right now. So in the state it is right now, the tier difference is so high that the tier, if that guy was tier 5, he would miserably fail, he would be dead up front, and then barely hurt the archers, kill 1 unit at most, then the other 2 would finish him. No, just because he was tier 6 or tier 7, he absolutely wrecked, because he could ignore any tactics he should have applied. So that's my little bit of a rant on tier difference and matchmaking. Yes, matchmaking is double bad because of that, because if tier difference is the most significant variable right now in matchmaking, and matchmaking fails the most at balancing tiers between teams, then it has a huge issue that needs to be fixed. Now onto the channel update. So I wasn't uploading videos recently of battles of highlight of my streams because Twitch doesn't allow me to highlight my highlights. So what it means is that I can only highlight videos in 2 weeks after the stream finishes. So if I fail to do so, and I failed to do so because I started my studies, so I had to focus on my studies, and I basically fell behind. So what I need to do, well, what I partially did already, is to download the highlights I created of entire streams, not just particular battles. Download it onto my computer, cut it there, render it again, and upload it to YouTube. Because what I've been doing is you just highlight the video from this point to that point on Twitch, press export to YouTube, bam, you have a YouTube video. It's so convenient, but at the same time it's so fucked up that I can't just make a highlight out of my highlight. Because I make a highlight of my entire stream to just preserve the stream and make it watchable for everyone who wants to watch it. So anyway, I just need to put more effort into highlighting videos while I can, because studies are hard. I need to focus on them, I need to study, all that stuff. So yeah, that's the first priority. The second priority is Arena. And I'll also have a guide, Javelin guide incoming, hopefully this week. And this guide is just me testing the waters. I want to get as much feedback as possible from you guys. So tell me what I do wrong, what I do right, what do you want me to add to this add to these guides, what to improve, what to get rid of, all that stuff. As much feedback as possible I want to get out of you guys, so then when I do the next part of my guides, because that's just one guide, then I want to release guides for basically everything. So I want to use that single Javelin guide that's coming this week, gather feedback, and make my next guides a lot better on a professional level, if that's possible for me. I'll try my best to make it as good of a quality and guide as possible. And while I may fall on the editing part because I'm just not an experienced editor and I don't have tools, I can definitely deliver, at least I hope so, for you on the knowledge part and just basically giving you advice, because that's kind of what I'm good at least I think, because, well, I'm leading my clan for 7 years already, and, well, I teach a lot of SUNTZU members how to play. So there you go, that's the channel update. That's my mini rant on matchmaking and tier difference in Arena. Hopefully it will be fixed when open beta comes, because when open beta comes, a lot more players will come to play, and if their first encounter with Arena will be bad, they will likely not return. So please, CA and Wargaming, ensure that Arena is in as good shape as possible before going into open beta. Even delay open beta to 2019 if you have to. For fuck's sake, make it good. See ya guys in my next episode of whatever the next episode will be. See ya.